Okay, for this first video, we'll be using pattern blocks to demonstrate finding the sum of 1/2 and 1/3. So what does that question actually mean? So to find the sum means that we're adding something together. So we have 1/2 and 1/3, so we're adding those two fractions together. So before we figure out what pattern blocks to use, we have to recognize that we have a whole. And to find these pattern blocks, we have to take the fraction's denominator to figure out how many pieces go into this whole. So for 1/2 has the denominator of 2, which means that you need a shape that goes into this whole twice. So we have 1 and 2. So that would be a whole using halves. But since our fraction is 1/2, we only need one of the two. So we'll set that there. And then to find 1/3, it has a denominator of 3, meaning that it takes 3 pieces to make up one whole. So we have the shape here, and it takes 1, 2, 3 pieces to make up this one whole. But since our fraction is only 1/3, we only need one of these 3 pieces. So to be able to add these two together, you need a least common denominator. A least common denominator is a multiple of 1/2 and 1/3, specifically their denominators. So you have to find the least common multiple of 2 and 3. So 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, and 2 times 3 is 6. Same with 3 over here. 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6. So we found our least common denominator, which is 6. So we have to find what shape would represent this denominator. So whenever we're finding a denominator, we're talking about the shape in relation to a whole. So the triangle goes into our whole 6 times, the same as the least common denominator that we found using the numbers of the 2 and 1/2 and the 3 and 1/3. So we'll put our 6 pieces onto here. And it works. 6 fits onto here with all even pieces. So we know that our denominator for our sum would be 6. Next, we have to figure out what our numerator is. So we'll take these triangles and we'll put them back on these shapes. So once we take our triangles that represents the 6 in our denominator using our whole, we take our triangles and we stack it on top of our 1/2 and our 1/3. And the 1/2 fits 3 triangles and the 1/3 fits 2. So when we add it together, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 triangles for our numerator and 6 triangles for our denominator. So it would be 5/6 or 5/6.